From Pawan Kalyan to Akshay Kumar and Tiger Shroff, know all about the Indian actors who are trained in martial arts. Find out why January is known as the dump month at box office. And meet Indian actor Sharmila Tagore as she talks about Satyajit Ray's legacy. All this and much more with me, Diksha Bisla, on WION at these times.
Vielleicht nur als 5%.
Good morning, Asia. Good evening, America. You're watching World DNA with me, Diksha Bisla. We have lots lined up for you on this bulletin, but first, a quick check on the headlines. European Union leaders denounce US threat to impose tariffs over Greenland issue. President Trump says he will impose tariffs on 8 European allies until he achieves the goal of controlling the Danish territory. Thousands marched in Greenland's capital Nuuk against US President Donald Trump. They held signs of protest, waved their national flag and chanted, "Greenland is not for sale." Syria's army says it captured the Tabqa military airport in Raqqa province, previously held by Kurdish forces. Authorities also announced the capture of 2 oil fields in the area. Israeli Prime Minister's office says that it is opposed to the lineup of the US-backed Gaza Peace Board. Israel says it was not consulted on the composition of the Gaza Executive Board, which is subordinate to the Board of Peace. Ukrainian officials say a Russian strike on Kharkiv city killed a woman and wounded several others. Strikes also hit northeastern Sumy region. One of FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives arrested in Mexico by local military and police officials. The arrested man is accused of killing a young woman in the United States in 2016. A massive fire sweeps through a shopping mall in Pakistan's Karachi city, killing at least 3 people and injuring about a dozen others. The European Union and South America's Mercosur bloc signed a landmark free trade agreement in Paraguay on Saturday, ending more than 25 years of negotiations to cut tariffs and boost trade. US President Donald Trump has fired his latest salvo in the quest to acquire Greenland. A 25% tariff on several of his European allies, and the message is clear. Let me buy Greenland or pay the penalty. Well, Europe has responded, first with surprise and then with defiance. In a Truth Social post, Trump said that he would impose a 10% tariff on good coming in from Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, UK, Netherlands and Finland. This will begin from February and increase to 25% by June. He added that this tariff will apply till a deal is reached for the purchase of Greenland. The 8 countries named by Trump have deployed forces in Greenland recently. These European leaders claim that the military exercise in Greenland is designed to show the world that they are ready to defend the territory. European leaders have denounced Trump's threat and expressed full solidarity with Denmark and the people of Greenland. An extraordinary meeting of EU ambassadors has been called in Brussels. Meanwhile, Denmark's foreign minister said that Trump's announcement came as a surprise. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said it was completely wrong. And French President Emmanuel Macron said that tariff threats are unacceptable and have no place in this context. EU Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen and President of the European Council Antonio Costa issued a joint statement saying that tariffs would undermine transatlantic relations and risk a dangerous downward spiral. They said Europe will remain united. Meanwhile, Greenland praised the reaction of European countries. Minister Naja Nathanielsen said that she was amazed to witness the first responses from the targeted countries. But Trump and his allies seemed to have doubled down on the security threat narrative. Top White House aide Stephen Miller reiterated that the contention that the US should control Greenland, saying Denmark cannot defend the semi-autonomous Danish territory.
Greenland, they cannot control the territory of Greenland. Under every understanding of law that has existed about territorial control for 500 years, to control a territory, you have to be able to defend a territory, improve a territory, inhabit a territory. Denmark has failed on every single one of these tests. So they want us to spend hundreds of billions of dollars defending a territory for them that is 25% bigger than Alaska at 100% American expense.
But it seems that not many share his sentiment back in Greenland. In Nuuk, the seat of Greenland's autonomous government, thousands of people marched against Trump's wish to acquire the mineral-rich island. Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen also joined protesters who waved Greenlandic flags, chanted slogans and sang traditional songs under light rain.
He's just arrogant and a very big bully. He does not care of anything. His way of saying things are just so specific and so disrespectful and hateful that it's just hurting everybody around him.
I don't know what he's thinking, and I really don't want to have him being in my head or in my voice at all. He makes so much. He puts so much pressure on us as a people, and I think it's surreal and it's unreal to be part of that circus he's doing right now.
Thousands more protested in Copenhagen and other Danish cities. Many of them carried Greenland's flag, while others held signs with slogans like "Make America Smart Again."
Greenland, not for sale! Greenland, not for sale! Greenland's not for sale!
Minneapolis remains on edge. Hundreds of anti-immigration demonstrators clashed with far-right activists in Minneapolis as the city continues to remain on edge. The rally is occurring against the backdrop of nationwide anger over the recent fatal shooting of a local woman, Renee Good, by a federal immigration agent, saw anti-ICE protesters hurling water balloons and surrounding the opposition group, which had planned a demonstration in support of immigration and customs enforcement. The far-right rally was organized by a controversial online influencer, Jake Lang, who was pardoned for his role in the January 6th Capitol attack. Tensions quickly escalated as the much larger crowd of counter-protesters confronted Lang and his handful of supporters, shouting and jostling them while police warned people to clear the streets and try to regain control. Video and eyewitness accounts also show Lang appearing injured in the melee as authorities escorted him away. Furthermore, IC protesters accused Lang and his supporters of instigating tensions and escalating confrontations.
I know for the past 2 days or last week, yeah, he's been out there at the Whipple building, just kind of instigating, you know, and getting everybody riled up, you know. I mean, they're the only ones escalating. We're here just being peaceful.
Meanwhile, a U.S. judge has restricted the actions of federal immigration agents responding to protests in Minnesota, issuing an injunction aimed at curbing the use of force and arrests against demonstrators. The order said that agents may not detain or arrest individuals who are engaging in peaceful, non-obstructive protest activity unless there is clear evidence of criminal conduct or interference with law enforcement. The injunction also bars the use of pepper spray, tear gas, and similar crowd control tactics against peaceful protesters. The order comes amid reports that a second person was shot by federal agents in Minneapolis just days after the killing of Renee Good.
Because you're irresponsible to humanity!
And for the first time since the protests erupted in Iran, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has admitted thousands of deaths following a deadly crackdown on protests that rocked the country for the last 2 weeks. Now, in a speech broadcast by state television, Khamenei indicated the extent of the casualties from the wave of protests, as he accused US of supporting violent protests in Iran.
اسلامی عرض میکنم هدف آمریکا در گذشته جوانان هیجانی نوجوانان هیجانی
Through hurting people, rioters killed several thousand of them.
کارهایی میکنن که نباید بکنن.
Acknowledging the deaths, Khamenei lashed out at US President Donald Trump of being responsible for casualties during the protests. Khamenei said that Trump was backing protesters with a military intervention.
The peculiarity of these riots was that the President of the United States himself got involved. He spoke out, expressed his views, and made threats. He encouraged the rioters, sent them messages from the United States, I will say later who it was, telling them to go ahead, to move forward without fear. He said, "We support you. We will provide you with military support." In other words, the US President himself became involved in the unrest. He is part of it.
Khamenei said that Iran must break the back of the seditionists, as he described the protesters as foot soldiers of Israel and the US. He also said that Iran does not intend to lead the country to war, but will not spare domestic criminals.
Worse than domestic criminals, international criminals, we will not spare them either. This work must be pursued with its own methods, with the right method. By God's grace, the Iranian nation must break the back of the seditionists, just as it broke the back of the sedition.
Khamenei reiterated an accusation that the US seeks domination over Iran's economic and political resources. His comments come a day after Trump sounded a conciliatory tone, saying that Iran cancelled the hanging of over 800 people. Meanwhile, Iranian authorities have said that protests were under control, with state media reporting thousands of arrests. They have announced the reopening of Iranian schools on Sunday. Iran state media also reported that SMS sending and receiving services were restored across mobile phone operators. Authorities also released a compilation of footage on Saturday that purported to show armed individuals carrying guns and knives as part of the evidence suggesting involvement of foreign saboteurs. Meanwhile, human rights agency Irana said that on 21st day of nationwide protest in Iran, the total number of verified deaths reached 3,308, with another 4,382 cases still under review. So far, 2,107 people with severe injuries have been identified. The agency further said that the nationwide internet blackout, which began on January 8th, had passed the 200-hour mark as the Iranian authorities went on to arrest more than 24,000 people. Iran has returned to an uneasy calm after harsh repression of protests that began on December 28th over Iran's ailing economy and exploded into the biggest protest against the Islamic Republic in more than 3 years. The demonstrations have subsided after a crackdown that rights groups say left thousands of people dead under an internet blackout. Artificial intelligence is no longer the future. It's already transforming jobs across the world. A new IMF report warns that nearly 40% of global employment is exposed to AI, with advanced economies facing the biggest impact. Our next report dives into the changing face of work, who's most at risk, and what countries are doing to prepare their workforce for the AI era. Take a look.
Artificial intelligence is no longer a future threat to jobs. It is already reshaping labor markets worldwide. According to the IMF, nearly 40% of global employment is exposed to AI-driven change. The impact varies sharply across regions. Exposure rises to 60% in advanced economies, drops to 40% in emerging markets, and falls further to 28% in low-income countries. The IMF says technological change is accelerating skill disruption. 1 in 10 job vacancies in advanced economies now require at least one new skill, compared to 1 in 20 in emerging markets. Professional, technical, and managerial roles face the fastest change, with tech skills accounting for more than half of new skill demand. Even technology leaders are not immune, as recent job cuts across major tech firms highlight the uneven impact of AI adoption. The IMF finds that workers with emerging skills earn more. In the US and UK, job postings that require new skills offer around 3% higher wages, rising to as much as 15% for roles demanding multiple new skills. Regions with faster adoption of new skills have also seen broader economic benefits. This includes employment growth of 1.3% for every percentage point increase in skill-intensive job postings. However, the picture is mixed for AI-specific skills. While they command wage premiums, they have not generated net job growth. Employment in AI-vulnerable occupations is 3.6% lower in regions with high demand for AI skills after 5 years. The IMF warns that middle-skill office jobs are being squeezed, while entry-level roles face higher exposure to automation, raising concerns for young workers entering the job market. Now, countries differ widely in their ability to meet rising skill demand. Nations like Brazil, Mexico, and Sweden face high demand but limited skill supply, requiring stronger investment in training, STEM education, and skilled migration. Others, including Australia, Ireland, and Poland, have abundant talent but weaker demand and must focus on boosting innovation and firm creation. The IMF stresses that these outcomes are not inevitable. Policies that expand lifelong learning, improve worker mobility, strengthen competition, and modernize education systems can turn disruption into opportunity. Countries such as Finland, Ireland, and Denmark, which invest heavily in tertiary education and continuous reskilling, rank among the most prepared. The IMF concludes that how governments act now will determine whether AI deepens inequality or delivers shared prosperity. Business Bureau Report, WION World is One.
And Pune is gearing up for a historic moment in Indian sport. Once known as the cycle capital of India, the city is now preparing to host the country's first ever international Grand Tour cycling event. And the scale of preparation is unlike anything seen before. Our next report has all the details. Take a look.
In the 1960s and 70s, Pune earned a unique title, the cycle capital of India, due to its favorable terrain and scenic roads. Decades later, the city is peddling its way back into the global spotlight. Pune is all set to host India's first ever international Grand Tour cycling event, a milestone not just for the city but for Indian sport. Inspired by legendary races like the Tour de France, the Pune Grand Tour 2026 will unfold over 5 days from January 19th to 23rd. It will cover nearly 437 kilometers across the district of Pune. Riders will pass through urban centers, open highways, and rural landscapes, testing endurance, strategy, and speed. The event is officially recognized by the International Cycling Federation, the UCI, carrying a Class 2.2 classification, which is the base level for road races. This is India's first UCI-approved international multi-stage road race. And this recognition carries global significance. The Pune Grand Tour is linked to qualification for the LA 2028 Summer Olympics. International riders will be able to earn crucial ranking points through a multi-stage, multi-day road race.
We were racing against time because making such a big length of road infrastructure was a very humongous task that we had in our hand. But with the convergence of various departments of government, the municipal corporations, PMRD, PWD, we have been able to achieve that big task. And now we have complete end-to-end connectivity for this race in place.
The preparations for the race has pushed civic and state agencies into fast-track mode. More than 310 kilometers of high-quality roads have been constructed, connecting around 140 villages in rural Pune. Infrastructure built for the race is expected to deliver lasting benefits for Pune residents in terms of infrastructure.
Using this idea of cycle, we want to make multiple changes, and the most important thing that we wanted to do out of this is that not only do we need to create a new game, a new brand of sport which is having the third highest medals in Olympics, but also with that we need to design our cycle routes in such a way that we should be able to connect the remotest of the villages of Pune with the state highways, with the national highways, so that there will be a natural boost in the economy of those rural villages, specifically from the point of view of tourism.
For Indian cycling, it is a long-awaited opportunity for the country's riders to compete at an international level, and that too in home conditions. India will be strongly represented. 2 national squads, the Indian national team and the Indian development team. 34 other countries are participating, bringing global attention and elite racing standards to Indian roads. A city that once lived on 2 wheels is now ready to ride into history once again.
A seismic shift occurred in the record books this January as the box office crown changed hands. Thanks to the massive holiday success of Avatar: Fire and Ash, the rankings for the highest grossing actors of all time have been rewritten, with a new queen sitting on the throne. Zoe Saldana has officially made history as the highest grossing actor of all time. She is the only performer to star in 4 different movies that have grossed over $2 billion. The long-time reigning champion Scarlett Johansson remains neck and neck with Saldana, while her Marvel legacy as Black Widow built her foundation. 2025 saw her lead the massive reboot Jurassic Park Rebirth. The film's global haul kept her in the top tier, making her the most successful female lead in cinematic history alongside Saldana. The ultimate franchise king, Samuel Jackson's career is a masterclass in longevity. Between the MCU, Star Wars and The Incredibles, he has appeared in more blockbusters than almost anyone alive. Even without a lead role in 2025, his passive box office total continues to grow. Though he stepped away from the MCU after Endgame, Robert Downey Jr. remains a permanent fixture on this list. However, his total is set for another massive spike soon. In late 2025, it was confirmed that his return to Marvel as Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday is happening. His return came with a record-breaking $100 million salary package. Now, rounding out the top 5 is the most reliable leading man of 2020s. Chris Pratt has successfully anchored 3 separate billion-dollar franchises: Guardians of the Galaxy, Jurassic World, and the Super Mario Bros. Movie. His ability to jump between live action and voice acting has made him a safe bet for studios looking for a global hit. And with that, it's time for us to slip into a very short break. But don't go anywhere. More news and updates will follow on the other side. Stay tuned. You're watching WION The World is One.
This is our brand new edition of South India, a daily dynamic show that will capture the pulse of the southern Indian state.
By blending special stories of the day, breaking alerts and cultural vignettes.
From the 7 days.
From Pawan Kalyan to Akshay Kumar and Tiger Shroff, know all about the Indian actors who are trained in martial arts. Find out why January is known as the dump month at box office. And meet Indian actor Sharmila Tagore as she talks about Satyajit Ray's legacy. All this and much more with me, Diksha Bisla, on WION at these times.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide, because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, world is one. From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.